Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to October's NEBOSH Open Book Exam. Let's go through the scenario without wasting any time. So, in the UK and many other countries, the public can take household waste to local recycling and reuse centers. Here, the waste is sorted, reused, and or recycled where possible. Otherwise, the waste may be incinerated for energy recovery, or, as a last resort, disposed of by burial in the ground. On the outskirts of a small town, there is a relatively small recycling and reuse center. There is no pedestrians access. Okay, this is good information here. There is no pedestrian access to the site for the public. Okay, for the public. Instead, they must arrive by vehicle, such as a car or a small van. Okay, so they are given instructions on what people can use. Passing through a designated entry gate. So this entry gate is only for these people. Into a one-way road system to reach the waste offloading point. The vehicles queue and travel very slowly along a narrow access road that is enclosed by a boundary fence. Okay. There are speed retarders in the road set at intervals at the end of the center's left-hand side. Okay. The access road turns to the right and takes the vehicles up a ramp onto a raised parking platform. Okay, so the place where they park is actually elevated. Here, vehicles drivers are directed to stop by a center worker who guides the drivers to a line of designated parking spaces. So there's a worker who tells people, okay, stop, please come this way, go here, blah, blah, blah. The parking spaces back directly onto a line of 12 large skips. Okay, let's read this again. The parking spaces back directly onto a line of 12 large skips. Okay, what are the skips? They are also known as open-topped waste containers or dumpsters. All right. These skips sit in an area below the parking platform, which is inaccessible to the public. Inaccessible to the public. Each skip is about 3.5 meters deep and projects about 1.2 meters above the ground. Okay, above the ground level of the parking platform. The waste must be disposed into these skips by the public. Okay, so the workers will not help, the people must do it. The skips are clearly labeled with what should be put into them, such as wood, metal, large items of household wastes, garden waste, cardboard, chemicals, etc. The public are encouraged to sort the waste from their vehicles into the respective skips. Okay? From their vehicles into the respective skips. So, guys, these things I'm highlighting, these are clear instructions to the public. Okay? Occasionally, with the assistance from the center workers, so sometimes, it's not all the times, sometimes, with the assistance from center workers, having emptied their vehicles, the public exits slowly from the end of the row of skips. Okay? Just to the right of the public entrance is a separate entrance for industrial vehicles and recycling. So this is clearly a place where to place a mark or a sign or something. And rescue center workers. This entrance allows access and egress to the lower area of the center so that full skips can be replaced with empty skips. So you have the garbage trucks go in, they take the full, replace, and put the empty ones back. CCTV or closed circuit television camera are strategically located to monitor traffic and vehicle unloading. Okay, so the cameras are strategically placed or located to monitor traffic and vehicle unloading. The Recycling and Reuse Center employs 6 people. Who are these people? A young manager who graduated only a year ago. So this here shows a little bit of experience. They are also nominated health and safety officer who diligently oversees the day-to-day management of the center. Okay, so this person, it can be a man or a woman because they said they. So let's say he or she. They are also, or he is also, or she is also. Okay, so they're nominated health and safety officer, so they're in charge of health and safety. This is one. The second one is a very experienced worker who the manager regularly confides in and who has grown to understand the enthusiasm and good intentions of the manager. So this person, the experienced worker is admiring the manager. Okay. 2 other workers around the skip areas. So this is 2, 3, and 4. 2 industrial vehicle drivers. So this the total is 6. The manager at the center works in accordance with the organization's health and safety objectives and gives a weekly update at a leadership team management meeting. Okay, so whatever the corporate plan is, this is what the manager is following. Okay, so it can be old, it can be new, it can be almost old, almost new. So he's following what's on paper. The manager's director, so the manager's boss, checks on this on center performance and openly provides support to the young manager and checks on their well-being. Okay, so this is a good sign of safety culture. Good. All workers are aware of the manager's focus on health and safety objectives. Okay, so another sign of good health and safety culture. So they're all focused on their safety objectives, targets, and performance. The health and safety policy, the manager's NEBOSH diploma parchment are pinned to a well-organized notice board in the worker break room. Okay, so this tells us that there is a break room. Okay, and there is a notice board. It is well organized, and there are information displayed there. Okay, good signs of something. Housed within a portable modular building, the numerous risk assessments are labeled within a large binder located on an open bookshelf within the break room. Okay, also good. Information is accessible by people. They can view it, review it. These have been compiled with the help of workers. Okay, so worker participation, good. The manager is aware of their competency, limitation, and as a result welcomes worker input, as this is a useful insight from those who carry out tasks. So here it tells us that the worker or the manager says, guys, I'm only 1 year out of college, and I know what I'm capable of, and I know what I cannot do. So competency shows the things I can do. Limitations show the things that I cannot do. So that's why he welcomes any input from the workers, because they're the ones that are actually getting their hands dirty and working. In that way, workers can give realistic feedback about about the workability of operational and administrative procedure. Okay, operational and administrative procedure, especially if new risks emerge that have not been encountered before. Okay. Sorry about these phone notifications, guys. It's the exam day. So the manager is regularly seen in and around the recycling and reuse center and occasionally carries out unannounced workplace inspections. Okay, another sign of good health and safety culture. During such inspections, workers are frequently frustrated when the manager randomly asks them questions from a list about specific aspects of the health and safety policy. Okay, so here it takes a left turn and it says that they are, this guy is doing the inspections, he's doing this, and it's good, but he's asking questions from a piece of paper. It's not like something else. In addition, workers are reminded yet again about wearing appropriate personal protective equipment. So guys, wear PPE, blah, 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 all of that, by the observant manager. So the manager always sees things. But when challenged, the workers point out that some of the PPE safety signs, which are over 2 meters high, they are over 2 meter high, and he's talking about the PPE signs. So here, when the manager tells the workers you need to put on the PPE, their response is, they say the PPE safety sign is more than 2 meters high, and they have faded considerably and are hard to read. As a result, the manager uses contractors to remove and replace any faded PPE signs at the center. Okay? Before this work commences, the manager provides induction training for the contractors when they initially arrive. Okay, so this is also good. There is induction taking place. The recycling and reuse center workers quietly appreciate the time taken by the manager to speak with them and the acknowledgement of any constructive complaints and observations about work. Okay? As a result, they are motivated to keep the workplace tidy. Okay? To the extent that they are upset if a single nail is found on the floor around the public vehicle unloading areas. Okay, so this shows like peer pressure of the positive type, so they all share the same mentality. The manager chairs a monthly health and safety committee meeting with a nominated trained representative from the industrial vehicle drivers. So there are 2 drivers, and this guy holds a meeting with one of them, and one from those assisting the public with the recycling operations. So what this tells us, guys, is that there are only 3 departments, like workers assisting the guys and drivers to empty the skips. And this manager is taking the time to interview and not interview, but ask questions and see what can be done better. So we can say if there were 11 departments, he will have 1 person from each department, and he will be asking them questions about how things can be better. So, like we said, this guy is having the meetings, and it's good. At the start of each working day, the manager holds a health and safety briefing with all workers. Okay, one such daily briefing was taking place in the break room early one morning. All right, early. and was overrunning beyond the public opening time of 8 o'clock. So we are assuming this means 8 a.m. because it said morning here. Okay, where is it? Morning. So the doors open for the public at 8, and the meeting was longer. The meeting was longer than 8 a.m. An inexperienced worker who opened the entry gate just before the daily briefing. But here, say, you see there is an inconsistency. It says here at the start of each working day, the manager holds a health and safety meeting, a briefing with all workers, right? But here, an inexperienced, so this person needs to be watched. An inexperienced worker had opened the entry gate just before the daily briefing at 8, so he shouldn't have opened it. A member of the public drove into the recycling and reuse center and parked their vehicles near the garden waste skip. Near the garden waste skip. Unaided, they tried to invert a garden waste bag containing about 50 liters of waste. Okay, so without any assistance, because we said there are two workers that can help, but they were at the meeting and this guy came in, or this person came in. Unfortunately, their wrists became entangled in the bag's carrying handles, which then became trapped on the edge of the skip. They were screaming for help as they were caught against the front of the skip with their arms outstretched, desperately trying to avoid being pulled into the skip below. Okay, by the heavy bag. So the screaming alerted workers who appeared from all directions and freed the member of the public. Okay, here there are a few things we want to focus on, okay? Remember, there are cameras, but this was not seen by the camera, right? The cameras are not aimed everywhere, so I thought it's important just to point out. What got their attention? The screaming. The screaming alerted workers who appeared from all directions. So this shows lack of training and there no emergency plan, basically. They appeared from all directions and freed the member of the public. Although none of the workers have ever collectively practiced a response to such emergencies. So there should be some training or trained first aider or rescuer. The manager comforted and reassured the member of the public, inquired about their health, and ensured that they were suitably recovered before allowing them to drive away. So the guy did not let her or him go into the car and drive off until they made sure that she's okay or he's okay and can drive safely. Okay. The manager immediately closed the center entry gates and posted a closure notice for half an hour. Okay. Posted a closure notice. Good. They arranged a short team briefing with all workers to discuss the near miss and what temporary actions the workers could take to avoid an immediate repeat of this incident. So he's doing the investigation and briefing with his team to prevent recurrence of this incident. The manager agreed to discuss the incident in more detail with the experienced worker. Okay, when the center closed later that day. So he said, okay, that's it for now, but we'll talk later, you and I. We'll talk later once the day is finished. The experienced worker surprised the manager by saying, huh, this incident has happened before. No one has ever been hurt, so there's nothing to worry about. The manager responded assertively by suggesting multiple health and safety management improvements. Okay, multiple health and safety management improvements that would help ensure this kind of incident is never repeated. The enthusiastic manager has suggested a change in the health and safety policy and has emailed the director. See below. This is the email to director on Monday, whatever. Good morning. As rescue and recycling center manager, and in particular in my role as health and safety officer, I believe the existing health and safety policy signed by a previous manager who retired in 2015. Now this is 2021 and this is 2015. So signed by a previous manager who retired in 2015 will need to be updated. What needs to be updated? The health and safety policy. Health and safety legislation mandates that an organization must write, implement, communicate, and review the health and safety policy. In addition, health and safety standards or guidelines are often rewritten and replaced. Okay, so there's a lot of change that took place between the years of 2015 and 2021. So this guy just wants to bring the policy up to date, really. Okay, new managers are promoted while others are transferred to other recycling centers. This naturally results in recruitment of managers and workers who have ideas about different hours and days of working to account for public demands. We have taken delivery of brand new skip moving vehicles that operate the skips. Okay, we have taken delivery of brand new skip moving vehicles that operate around the skips. While these new vehicles are welcome, challenging recycling targets mean that the workforce have changed working practices and processes to meet these targets. So it says here the company wants us to do so many things, but you changed our equipment. Okay, you changed our equipment, and we're trying to achieve the same goal with this new equipment, which is challenging, really. When I speak to the workers, they often complain that many procedures outlined in the policy do not reflect what actually happens these days. In addition to all this, the fact that we have previously been served an enforcement order, oh boy, was a reminder that administrative and practical things need addressing. Thank you. Yours sincerely, R.E.W. Atkins. Okay, now I'm going to break down this, these tasks in separate videos and give you more assistance as much as I can without helping you cheat.